Okay, so fun fact, that drowned decided to start making noise basically right as I went live. So yeah, that's the thing. But yeah, anyhow, let's get up to the surface quickly here. Then we can do some stuff, and it's nighttime. I will not go up to the surface then. I will instead sleep down here. Great start to this stream. A great start indeed. Okay, now we go up to the surface. And now I can properly say, hey everyone, JSD Cool here, and welcome to another episode. Well, welcome to the second live stream from Coolcraft, Season 7, and, hello. Yes, I'm back, working on the project again, and I will just warn you right now, this stream contains spoilers for my next episode. Not really a way around that. But yeah. Well, first of all, I'll update you on this little thing I built down here, which is a to-do board before this project is completed. So, as you can see, a couple things have already been ticked off, which is build towers and portals. We're working on the rest. In fact, we'll work on something this stream, but first, I need to show you that I've completed those. So, come back here. The towers, they are completed. All the way down, all the way back. That's what I've been doing over the past week. Actually, 2 weeks, really. Yeah, it was a long, slow process, but I got it done. That's also why there wasn't a video in the last week, because I was just building these towers slowly throughout the week. However, yes. Also, I'm standing on it right now. The portals, they are also put in on the overworld side here. In addition to that, I've been, over the past couple days, working on replacing all the shulker boxes, which is the next thing there. I haven't gotten completely done with it. That's just out of render distance there. I've gotten a good chunk done now. I'm over halfway. Unfortunately, entity render distance makes it a little bit difficult to tell where, in fact, I've stopped. But it's right here. I've gotten up to here. This takes a while. And would take longer if I didn't have the Minecraft system, though. But yeah, so progress is going on that. I'm not going to make the stream just that, because it would just be a couple hours of me doing that. Kind of boring. But since I have been quite quickly churning through shulker boxes, the Snow Factory has actually been working. Oh yeah, it's going to be very loud while I'm here. And in fact, it's worked quite well. This entire stack of chests has been emptied of shulker boxes. This one I think was barely touched. Oh, actually, we should go up for the rest of these. Besides this first one being completely empty, I think there's just every other one is, or a bunch of these are just substantially empty. Like this first one here as well. Also, actually, no, this first one is the one that's actually getting filled up right now. You know, it only technically does one shulker box at a time, but regardless of this thing was running, we should have had enough shulker boxes in the system regardless to actually not actually have any problems when building this. But yeah, that ending okay, well, back to there. But yeah, anyhow, that first but this first column here not having any shulker boxes, and it kind of bit me because this minecart wasn't filling up with shulker boxes due to the fact that I hadn't set up the hoppers right. So I put in this line of hoppers here to make sure that, you know, everything can feed everything here in terms of shulker boxes. And the YouTube app did that thing again where it thinks I stopped streaming. If I press X on this, restart. Okay. I don't know what it is about my streams. It just doesn't. Oh, I also didn't do the thing for the network drop counter, so if the network drops happen, which I don't think they are, OBS isn't reporting any issues, I will restart the stream on my phone then. Don't know what the deal with that is. Anyhow, enough about what I have done, let's get doing stuff in today's stream. Specifically the second one, pigs. So let's go explain what this is. So, you may have noticed in the last stream, and I think I probably did talk about this, at the top of these towers, there's this little apparatus. Leaves in a fence post. The idea with this is that there will be a pig standing here, which is going to be leashed to this fence. And somehow the pathfinding of the pig will make it just stand here. No problems. Not wanting to move at all. It's very, like, mind-bending. But anyhow, yeah, we have to put pigs in each of these. There's a very technical reason that I don't entirely understand for them, but our job today will be get and multiply a bunch of pigs, basically. And so I need resources for that. Because, oh yeah, another thing. Look at all of these empty shulker boxes. And all the shulker boxes up here, which are also empty. These are actually still having random junk in them. But anyhow, I think I'll take the cobblestone here. I'm going to go back to my base to get more. There's also a thing, where am I getting pigs from? Because there's no animals on this island here. I feel like, yeah, okay, there's a forest over this way. Don't want to take a screenshot there. Hitboxes are on. Perfect. Okay, there are pigs right here. So we'll probably boat them over towards the towers. And then pull them up a staircase into a pen up top, which will be the easier thing. And then we just got to build a bridge out from the center to all the things. So here, let me just yoink down a bunch of that. Okay, let's see approximately how tall are these, therefore how far out should I be to build this little tower. These things are like 100, no, 100. So like 60, 70 blocks out. So we're at what? Z. 3102. Negative 3102. And gonna want to add like 70 blocks to that. 32. We need to go to roughly right here. Alright, this looks like good enough. Build myself a little bit of a platform here. I don't have any torches. But I do in the ender chest! Actually, I do not know what happened to the torches that I had on me when I started this project. Maybe I used them all up, but I don't think I did. They just kind of disappeared. Actually, let me just make sure I didn't have any in the chest over this way. Oh, they were in this chest the whole time. Well, I will use those instead, because unlike most of this, I actually do care about mob spawning in this situation. Oh yeah, I have a bunch of extra random junk in here. A bunch of stuff from repairing this, as it did break for some reason a couple times. I actually have no idea why. It makes no sense to me that it keeps breaking occasionally. Anyhow. And then we hope that the pig will be able to follow me up this without problem. Oh, we need some fences to put them in a bit of a pen up here. And then, well, we need carrots. I don't think I have any, but I know of at least one village that we can go to get carrots. So, it's not a big deal. And then we're also probably going to need to grab a fairly sizable amount of bone meal to create more carrots, but carrots are pretty easy in those regard. Ah, dang it. I'm going to put stairs on this. That's going to make it way easier to get up with this. Of course, I will need a crafting table for that, so. Little details, little details. You know, I got torches and then I just realized I did not use them down there at all. Good thing it's daytime. Bam, bam, bam. Alright. Almost there. Now, I believe that it shouldn't matter that I'm going to place other blocks here. Oh wait, I can think of a situation in which it might. So actually we should go up and over this by a little bit. By a couple blocks. So that's one more. Okay. And then before we activate the thing, we're probably going to have to remove all the cobblestone from here. Alright, this should be safe over here. Because yeah, flying machine does have to come through all these leaves, hence why they are leaves. Yeah, flying machine has to come through the leaves. collect all the pigs at some point. Without any player intervention. So okay. Whee! And swoosh. Beep. Okay, now I need stairs, and also probably to go to sleep here. So, do I have a crafting table? I have 3 wood. And explosions. Ah, dang it. Let's see. What am I gonna do about the wood? I definitely have stuff in my ender chest for just such an occasion, don't I? You see, I often forget. I often only use my ender chest for fireworks and rockets, and I forget that. Oh, I didn't use the brown shulker box for that? Oh, dang, okay. I'll forget that, you know, I actually have some useful crap in my ender chest. I don't have crafting tables, though. That is curious. No. That away. Craft all the stairs I can. Hopefully I remember to put that in my ender chest at some point. I won't, but hopefully I remember, hopefully. And I can use some of that wood to make some fences. That I can use to enclose the pigs once I get up here. Nah, can't use the auto clicker on stairs. It's just gonna start placing stuff strangely. This is kind of trippy. Oh yeah, I didn't stream on Friday. Yeah. Just remembering this. Yeah, I planned to do streaming on Friday, which was, I think, going to be the portals, actually. But then the WAN show started, like, shortly before I was planning to start. Oh, I didn't need as many stairs as I got. Okay. Yeah, so I just kind of abandoned the stream, or abandoned streaming on Friday this week. Hopefully, presuming they don't do that again. Ooh. Okay, so presuming they don't do WAN show ridiculously early again this next week, I will be streaming again on Friday. And then the other thing that's a little bit, I guess, more important for the scheduling of these streams is the fact that semester is going to end soon. And actually, next weekend is the last weekend of the semester. So probably will also be the last weekend of streaming. Well, we'll see if I continue to stream over the summer. It largely depends on depends on job, okay? If I'm able to viably stream while jobbing. You know, see what I get in terms of job. Alright, that is that. I could probably just fly out of here. I'll use these to help me get the pigs in. And then I actually gotta put this back. And then I'll take the brown shulker box and put these things in. Alright, so now we can acquire the pig. Actually, I need leads. I guess I do have to go back to my base for that, as I don't have anything like that here. I don't even know how many leads I would have. Don't know how many wandering traders have actually killed this season. I'll just have to craft leads, if necessary. Fortunately, you take a crap ton of damage. I thought my food was fireworks. You take a crap ton of damage coming down that hole. So it's kind of risky. I think I actually may have died going through that hole before. Anyhow, back to the good old base. Haven't been seeing too much of this recently. Ow. Wait, I don't think my leads would have been over this way. Maybe they're in my storage system. I don't know. None. I usually put them in tools, so that's why I thought they would be there. You know, I've said I wanted to make this storage system larger, like dig down, and I just haven't. Two! We got two of them! Well, it's not really going to be enough for what we're... Oh, three! We have a third one. Phew. No, it's still not enough for what we're actually going to need to do here. So, time to get slime and string together. So we need at least 33. Not just 3, so 11 times what we got right now. More string. Because, yeah, now we need more slime. Perfect. I just gotta make sure I don't lose any of these, and we'll be good. Now, also keep in mind, because we're dealing with leads right now, we are still on 1.21.0 here because of this project, actually. This project has been why I've kept the server on this version. So yeah, none of those fancy new I mean, obviously, duh, I mean, we're not on a snapshot or anything like that. So obviously we wouldn't have those fancy lead mechanics yet. But in case you're wondering, yeah, no fancy lead mechanics here. Just the good old leads to keep mobs in place or whatever. Okay. Now, in terms of boats to get these pigs over to our working area, we should actually have that covered. But covered. Actually, maybe we have that covered. I just realized that we might not. If not, I'll just make a boat on land because there's trees right there. But I think I might have a boat laying around from when I repaired or from when this farm broke or was repaired. I put these chests here in case they would be necessary to store my items. Ah, crap. Yeah, in case these would be necessary to store items while I was doing stuff with the minecarts. Turns out they're not really, but okay. Do I have a boat here? Nah. Crap. Well, we're making a boat on land then. I thought I had like a spare boat lying around from that. Oh well. Thing is still running there. It'll take hours to catch back up. I mean, since we're going to be over here anyway, just chop down a tree. Ah, good old making a boat out of a local tree. All right. Come on. There we go. There we go. Alright, don't run away from me. I'll be back for your friend. I realize I don't have any carrots though, so you guys will just kind of be sitting in a pen until I, Come on, get in the boat. There we go. Grab the lead, which decided to sink for some reason. Alright, and away we go. This was actually a way easier process than I was expecting. I was expecting to like have to transport a pig through the nether, get them onto the surface. I think this is going to go okay. Getting carrots is going to be a little bit harder, but yeah, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Slowly loading the snow factory in. It's not loading fast because it's got moving parts. And therefore a lot of block updates, which the server apparently is incapable of processing quickly. Or at least the server is incapable of sending to us with good enough speed. Actually, something interesting in terms of Minecraft news that I've heard is that they're going to be rewriting the Java rendering engine for the first time since like 1.12 or something like that. Specifically for vibrant visuals, but I hope they'll take into account a bunch of the improvements that like Sodium has made, so we don't need to have FPS optimization mods anymore. But hopefully, though, with this, I could turn on hitboxes. Hopefully they don't go the route of Bedrock, though, and make everything crap in terms of chunk rendering, because Bedrock's rendering engine is horrible. Yeah, it could give you way larger render distances with higher frame rates, but other than that, there are serious issues with Bedrock's rendering engine because they like shoved RTX into it. It was purely because of that. Alright. One down, one to go. Then it's carrot time. And I guess we also technically have to wait around the pigs a while we wait for them to be able to breed again. Right. Pig number 2. Where are you? There you are. Perfect. So. Oh, there's another pig over that way. And it's coming night. Should be fine as long as we don't get drowned. Uh-oh. Damn it! Pig's getting away! Oh. Huh. Interesting. Few... That was a strange sound. Anyhow. Very strange sound I heard underwater there. Now, if you just like cover the surface of water in boats that are like full of entities, then a player can't get to the surface without breaking the boats, and could therefore drown. But I mean, obviously they could probably get rid of the boats pretty easily, unless you made it so they couldn't. Prank ideas. You have to find the one boat that doesn't have an entity in it. Actually, maybe that would be relatively easy, depending on like. No, actually, putting like pigs in the boats, you can't see their feet. Okay, I shouldn't have phantoms, so we should be fine. I don't think there's any other relevant spawning spaces right now, so yeah, should be fine. Should be fine. I'm just gonna hitbox it this time. Okay. There we go. Alright, Sarah's definitely helped make this way easier than it otherwise would be. Oink, oink. Dun dun. Dun dun. Alright. Both pigs are here, and now I go find carrots. Slash also go to sleep. Wow, this sounds like I'm moving real fast. And then I slow down a lot once I get to the water. Back down to the stronghold, because that's where my nether portal is. And bed us. The permanent bed for this project is here. Mostly so that I can use the end portal to get back and forth. I think having my base in the end and being able to and also building this above an end portal was actually very convenient, because it let me go back and forth from my base to the build site extremely quickly, assuming my spawn was actually set there. At least once I've actually been sent back to spawn because I was sleeping in a temporary bed. Didn't kill it. Oh well. Does not particularly matter. We're gone anyway. Alright, alright. And portal. Also, I have been like the only one actually on the server who's actually played on the only one who's actually played on the server for a little while now. Very sad. Hopefully Tyler can actually come back soon, because his semester should be ending soon, which means he won't be bogged down with Calculus 2. This way. This village has some farms. I don't know if they have carrots, though. was unable to verify that from the overview, but I can... Beets. Carrot. Perfect. What about you? You're also carrot. That's all I need. Well, okay, I need a bunch of bone meal as well. But I can hopefully get that from my base. If not, I have to come all the way back here to go to my mob farm, which does have bones. Hopefully. Up we go, and then down into the end portal. This one, I can just charge directly down in, because that water right before the portal kills all fall damage. Even when flying, apparently. Alright, and then... Oh, crap! Okay, not actually a big deal. I was about to say, crap, I need to go back to my base. But because I'm right at the end portal, I'm back already in the end. I'm going to go... Ow. That really hurt, actually. Okay, before trying that again, I actually have to wait for my health to regen. The way, like, you're, like, flying into a wall, you're not moving. You move a little bit, and then it's just like... Would you like a fuck ton of damage despite the fact you're actually moving very slowly? Anyhow, that's what I was trying to do. Threading that needle. Someday I'll remove all that bedrock, and then we won't have a problem. I think bones are this one. Ah, yeah, we got bones. Actually, while I'm here, I'll fill my shulker box back up with cobblestone, because we're gonna need a bunch. Ah, and then we got an iron bar in our cobblestone farm. That's fun. Bum bum. Alright. Away we go. Perfect. That also worked well. No internet lag issues preventing that bouncing into the portal from working, because for some reason that's how that works. And that guy comes out of the nether portal at the same time I arrive. Great. Oh, I also kind of need a piece of dirt, which I won't be able to find too easily. Okay, gotta go. Oh, I mean, yeah, there's this island over here. Just grab a cup, like a piece of dirt off of this. I hope I have a hoe in my ender chest, otherwise I'm gonna have to make one out of wood. Boop. Alright, pig's dinner is almost served. Put this here. It's a bad position for that. Yes, I do have soil tilling equipment. Yeah, we'll do that. It will not irrigate itself. So we'll put this back in the ender chest, and oh crap. Ooh. I should build around this so I don't accidentally let all my carrots go flying down to the ground. Alright. Then we will... Oh, here. Breed these guys. That's the first time I've bred animals. Also gotta make sure that I... right there, okay. click on a non-farmland block or punch a non-farmland block occasionally, because you know how like when you're chopping down trees and you can just barely reach the top log by jumping, and it lets you continue mining that from like discrete jumps. That mechanic's coming back to bite us here, because if I didn't temporarily stop and punch something else, the farmland here would let me put a block beneath it in case that happens. The farmland will eventually break because it just accumulates the damage, even though I'm breaking the crop, but whatever. I probably have enough carrots now. But because I got nothing better to do at this moment in time, what I really should do is I should log my alt account in to keep these pigs company. I don't remember how long it is, how long in between. So actually, they're right there. You can see those cracks there. Go away once I start breaking another block. Very entertaining gameplay, guys. Very entertaining. So actually, what I might do is I might go on my laptop and load up my alt account. Bring it over here just to like... Okay. Hold on a moment. I'm going to do that so we can get actually building out the bridge between all the different things. This would only be a moment. Assuming my laptop has power. Because it might not. Almost fell. We love almost dropping technology, but it didn't drop. Okay. We got power. How much do we got? Oh, for fuck's sake, my headphones just connected to my laptop. Okay, so I will have to go fix that once I get back over to desktop land. So, yay! These headphones honestly make no sense. Like, I've literally had it in the past where my laptop is, in sleep mode in my backpack. I'm actively listening to stuff on my phone. And my headphones are just like, hey, I'm gonna connect to the laptop. Why? I don't know. It's completely asleep in the backpack, but like, I'm connected to them now. Okay. Well, pressed play on Minecraft on the laptop, so we will switch over to this while I reconnect the headphones. Oh, great, my green screen's a bit messed up. Reconnect headphones to my computer here. Connect. Okay. Headphones. Oh, and it's raining in Minecraft. Sorry if that was cutting out. Because, like... I know when the headphones disconnect... Oh, here. Let's go back to the actual game. When the headphones disconnect, the thing I can use to switch where the inputs are going tends to get a bit pissy about them no longer being there, and it'll cut the audio every so often. I remember once I was wondering what was going on with that, and it turns out I had just forgotten to remove my headphones as a device from the audio output. It also lets me not have to worry about actually switching all my devices over to using my headphones as an audio device, because I can just set both my headphones and audio to be from the same audio stream. Very convenient. Anyhow, click the multiplayer button. Discord's stupid overlay comes up. No one... Hey Discord, no one likes your stupid fucking new overlay. Anyhow, join the CoolCraft server. Should see it pop up here in a moment. after it installs the resource pack. There it is. Where is it? It's probably not in the right place. It's all the way at the end. Now, it's all the way right above the pigs. Alright. We can now continue the live stream. Alright. Can I breed these pigs again? Oh, I can. That was not very long. Actually, before I get going, I'm going to quickly go look up on the Minecraft wiki how, what the interval for breeding is. Oh boy. You have the Minecraft movie on here. What is this one? Oh, story moves. Okay, well. Alright, so we're going to search for breeding. Yes, they have changed I'm not familiar with the mobile layout of this. Villagers and animals. Most are not gonna love mode. Animals fed in his love mode. Species love mode. Animals are in love mode. Heart particles. La 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 la. Experience. How often? Always followed me. Animal. You have 30 seconds. 30 seconds when you have 30 seconds to breathe them. Okay. That's useless information. But how often can I do it? Okay. What is it? They got all the wait. Is this chart going to give me fed but not bred with a carrot on a stick? Yada yada yada. Okay. Go past all the things. Okay. This goes down to villagers. Similar mechanics. No. How long is it between breedings? Oh well. I could theoretically go ask ChatGPT or something, but I cannot be bothered to do that right now. So we're going to... Well, I'm going to go... Accessibility settings. They've added a lot of crap to here since I last looked. Sneak toggle. So what we're going to do is we're going to toggle sneak. And then we're going to go just build this all the way to like 1,000 blocks to the end of the thing. So yeah, this is going to be a fun stream, guys. Fun stream. I mean, I know we're like 40 minutes in, but fun stream, guys. We've gotten a pig pen set up in this stream so far, and now we're building a bridge. A 1 block wide bridge. Gosh, this is a productive stream. Oh, we all love these very, very productive streams. Is this joke getting old yet? Oh yeah, it also has been a hot second since... Actually, it has been a hot second since my last stream. Which, I mean, I guess, again, was building this project. Oh crap, I forgot it was toggled. Okay. Right, yeah, my last stream was, you know, like 2 weeks ago. Before Easter. 'Cause yeah. Oh yeah, Easter weekend was a, well, it was a thing. I couldn't stream because, you know, family stuff going on. Specifically on Sunday I couldn't stream because I actually went to see the Minecraft movie on Sunday. Yeah, these things are quite far apart. And, you know, I can, while we're doing this, I can staple my thoughts in about the movie. So, let's see. Where do I start this? So, okay, is there a good story in the movie? No, absolutely not. The story is awful. But did I have fun? Yes, I did have fun watching the movie. And don't go if you're expecting a... Okay. Don't go if you're expecting a good story, because there was not a good story. But, you know, if you're into the game or not, it still can be a fun movie to watch. There are a few things that, like, really kind of irked me about it. For one, kind of a nitpick thing here, but like when they had like creepers exploding, they didn't use the actual in-game sounds that the creepers make, like the sizzling and the Minecraft explosion sound. Which was really annoying because right before the creepers exploding, when they were like kind of sneaking around, it made creeper noises. Which made it kind of infuriating that it didn't go, do the old the bit of a sizzle before the boom. Very, very disappointed in you. Minecraft movie people. Okay, that's not really a story thing. That's just like a game mechanic nitpick of mine. All right, what else what else was a little bit? Okay, in terms of story, there's a lot of things, especially from early on in the movie, like before the main characters really get into Minecraft, that are like, oh yeah, this seems like a thing that's gonna get, this is like a part, important part of the movie that's gonna be like resolved later, and then it just wasn't. It's all like useless setup that could have been something much simpler or completely like done completely differently, and the movie would still have effectively felt the same. Also, they did take a while for the main characters to actually get into Minecraft, which, that's kind of disappointing. So, what did they do? Oh boy. So, the whole, like, being new in town situation, that kind of felt dumb. And, like, that never really was expanded upon. Like, oh, we got a house with the landlord. You didn't, like, need to introduce it to, like, we could have just, like, instead of seeing them move to town for the first time, we could have just had them, like, could have joined them when they were already moved in. Or like a day or two after moving in, but now it's the first day of school type situation. And the, meeting the landlord, like, not for the first time, but they met again. That sort of thing. But yeah. A bunch of that stuff just felt completely weird and unresolved. Oh yeah, and like the end of the movie, they don't mention like the fact that they destroyed that giant potato or the giant potato statue. Just completely don't mention it. Why would you mention it? That's completely ridiculous. Oh, another game mechanic that they actually got kind of wrong, or maybe I'm just interpreting wrong, is the Minecraft day-night cycle. One full day-night cycle is 20 minutes. I don't know if this is just how I interpreted it from the movie, but to me it sounded like they were saying that daylight lasts for 20 minutes and the nighttime lasts for 20 minutes. Maybe I was just interpreting that wrong, but yeah, it's theoretically divided in half. 10 minutes daytime, 10 minutes nighttime in Minecraft. Something that apparently was, though, they did actually apparently keep the day-night cycle relatively consistent throughout the movie with time, which is actually pretty interesting. But yeah, another bit of the story that I found completely just like empty is like at one point Steve is explaining the backstory of like the main villain, where they like. There's the talent show. They were going into that Piglin talent show using Pig Step. Great song, by the way. Glad that they put that in there. That was great. Surprised Warner Brothers didn't try to copy strike anyone who had Pig Step in their video, including me, because at the beginning of the season I used Pig Step to intro one of my episodes. Anyhow, jokes about how bad Warner is aside. It's becoming nighttime. Fun. Yeah, they basically were like, oh, she lost the talent show and was sent to the mines. And then they never picked up any of the backstory itself. It's like, okay, that explains like that's like their depressing backstory for why they like are this way and they're evil. But that doesn't explain how they went from the piglin that got sent to the mines to being the person who's commanding the people invading the overworld. Like, that doesn't explain any of that. Like, it gives, like, okay, this is the origin story, this is their villain origin story, but not how they got into the position that they're in. So many missed opportunities there. Let's see, what else in the movie? Oh yeah. Why are piglins the bad guy? Like, why are piglins always like the big bad in these games? Or in these newer spin-off things that Microsoft is doing with the Minecraft property. Because in the actual game itself, you know, Minecraft, what I'm playing right here. No, we're not near the end. Piglins are not all that big of a thing. Like, yeah, they're there. And they're, you know, a minor inconvenience when you're in the nether sometimes. Sometimes they can be quite annoying. If you're in a bastion, yeah, the piglin brutes can actually be quite a challenge to deal with. But outside of that, and you don't go to the bastions all that often. Outside of that, yeah, there's really no, there's really not much to do with the piglins in the game. They're not really that much of an antagonist. And yet, I don't know why, but in a lot of the recent like spin-offs and properties, like Minecraft Legends and Minecraft Dungeons to some extent, I believe. Actually, no, I think Minecraft Dungeons was more pillager focused, which is actually a good, you know, big bad to have happen. Pillagers aren't, you know, necessarily that big of a thing. But they can be. But, you know, Minecraft Legends was more of this stuff. Why, though? Piglins, you know, maybe to someone who doesn't know Minecraft, it's like, oh, that's gotta be like a big deal, right? But they're not. They really are not. Especially for most of Minecraft's history. They're not. They were added in 1.16 and, like, basically functionally didn't exist before then. I mean, sure, there were the zombie piglin. They serve a different purpose. It's like, no, this is all horrible. Look, stop making piglins the bad guy that everyone does. Yeah. What about the Wither? What about the Ender Dragon? Nah, piglins. So yeah, there's that. Oh yeah, also, they don't actually really do much. The Nether doesn't really play all that much of a role. We don't really show any of the Nether besides this one area of Piglin Civilization. What about, like, could have done so much with the Nether, and, like, they extend the length of the movie. The main characters get captured, jailed in the Nether again. I guess Steve would have been there for the second time. But they break out and have to travel through the Nether before finding a way back to the overworld. And then they have to experience the actual Nether, like, you know, get your Nether waste biomes, and you can also get your other things, your Basalt Deltas, Soul Sand Valleys, Warped and Crimson Forests. Experience all of that. We didn't get any of that. We just got what maybe was a bastion, but also maybe was a fortress. I don't know. And also the whole, like, plot line of them going to the overworld to steal gold. By the way, I guess this is spoilers for the movie, but it's more of like an excuse to go to the overworld. That, or to, like, steal and mine the overworld for gold, makes, like, very little sense in the game. Because, I mean, unless you're going to a mesa biome, which, yes, has a lot of gold, compared to the Nether, there is not much gold in the overworld. Oh, another thing that I kind of dislike is that, okay, in kind of, I guess, the the prologue to the actual story, when Steve is basically, like, showing off his, like, the reason why he's in Minecraft, he builds Steve Land as a thing, and they briefly show it. And in fact, in many shots, it's in the background. But the main characters, the main cast in Minecraft, they never visit Steve Land. Not even, like, once they're done, let's have fun at Steve Land before we go home. No, they never freaking visit Steve Land. That is a freaking crime. Gosh dang. But yeah. Now let's talk about some things that I found cool about the movie. So, actually, the very beginning of the movie was actually pretty cool. They actually, like, just straight up put the Java, like, world loading screen, or single-player world loading screen at the beginning of the movie. I thought that was pretty cool. Suck it, Bedrock. That also proves they're in Java Edition. There's also like the expected, the very end of the studio logos before like the movie really started with, you know, the Minecraft music or whatever, and then the world loading screen. You know, we had the Mojang logo, which similar to what you see when you boot up the game. And of course it did their fun little animation thing. That was nice. Of course, you know, Jack Black did, you know, pretty good job there. The whole, you know, yearning for the mines, and then finally the end. Okay. The yearning for crap! I forgot it was Toggle. Once again, forgot it was. Oh, hang on. Let's quickly fly back and breed those pigs again. It has definitely been long enough. But yeah, so yeah, they, and then when Steve, as an adult, came back to the mines, the way he actually got in there, it was pretty funny. Oh, also, something else. So, obviously that, the orb casing, or whatever it was, the crystal, that's what it was. The stupid, like, crystal thing that they needed to open the portal. That has, you know, that writing from the enchanting writing. You know, it's called the International, or Standard Galactic Alphabet or something like that. It's an actual thing. It is actually coherent, and actually I think I have a resource pack on Minecraft right now that actually translates that into Latin letters, so you can actually read what the enchanting table says. It's not usually very interesting or telling about what the enchanting is going to be, but it is kind of interesting that it is a thing. Anyhow, the text on there on the crystal is not actually translatable, because there are characters on there that do not correspond to actual characters in the actual alphabet, or at least not from what I could tell. I actually was writing it down on the sticky note that I have in front of me, and there was a few letters that I was just like could not figure out. And nothing I wrote down is actually coherent actually at all. So that's a little bit of a continuity error, you know? Also, another little weird thing is that, canonically, that's the word I'm looking for. Steve has only killed one Enderman, or at least gotten one Ender Pearl. Technically, Endermen don't have to drop Ender Pearls, so he could have had to kill a couple of them. But by the logic of the movie, they probably would always drop in at least one Ender Pearl, even if that's not actually how drops work in the game. How has Steve only killed one Enderman ever? Like, I mean, I know they're probably a little bit smarter Endermen than we have in the actual game. It would probably, like, pull you out if you were standing under a 2-block tall gap. Or I guess 3 blocks tall, whatever. They're quite tall. But the main character, when he encounters the Enderman, stupidly stares, he, like, basically effortlessly defeats the Enderman. So it's like, really, Steve? How did you never never do that before? Also, I guess something like a missed opportunity in the movie. They could have like done more with cool redstone contraptions. Just saying. I mean, they had some stuff, like there was that. To be fair, Mumbo, YouTuber Mumbo Jumbo, he did actually pitch a bunch of different like redstone related ideas that they ended up not going with. Like, instead of having just that, I guess, big fat piglin for them to fight, he was pitching giant mechatronic slimestone contraption piglin. That would have been cool. I mean, a couple blocks of obsidian could probably have prevented that one from working, but or prevented that thing, yeah. Let's see. Oh yeah, I guess more generally about the story. It was not very deep. The story is very shallow in this movie, which, to be fair, if you're watching this movie for the story, you're doing it wrong. Do it for the spectacle. Oh yeah, there was also the post-credit scenes that sets up they're gonna do another movie, guys. Yeah, I mean, okay, overall, it's probably not the best movie they could have made with the franchise, but in order to, like, gauge audiences' receptiveness for a movie about Minecraft, and also to just make a bunch of money off the intellectual property, yeah, it works for that. If you ask me what they should have done and what they should do in the future, because it's not off the table, right? You can still make more movies. What they should do is they should take Minecraft Story Mode and turn that into a series of movies. Because that actually has a good story, and it's already set in the Minecraft world, and it's animated. Animated! All you gotta do is animate, and you just keep the movie animated. Kind of the same stuff. I mean, obviously, Minecraft Story Mode is way too long to fit into a single movie, and obviously, there are some points where I'd say split it up into multiple movies. But certain chapters can be left out, and certain chapters can kind of be made. Oh, I gotta change this. Ability top hold. Certain bits of Minecraft Story Mode could definitely be. I mean, it would still make a great movie, but what I'd say you could probably do is split it up into the whole Witherstorm story. That could be one movie. You'd have to condense down a bunch of that, but there's probably some unnecessary stuff there. I mean, obviously, there's like timed events or whatever. Don't necessarily need that. And you probably have to cut a bunch of stuff out, but I think that would still be pretty cool to see most of that as a movie. It'd probably be a little bit of a longer movie, but it'd still be pretty cool to see that. And, that's some actually, not anymore, but that's pretty original stuff. And considering how, I guess, long ago at this point Minecraft Story Mode was, and how poorly that did in the market, I mean, it did okay on YouTube, but, like, people didn't buy the games. The fan base is a lot larger now, and a lot of the fan base probably hasn't heard of or played Minecraft Story Mode or seen it. It would probably be a great way to reintroduce this story that Mojang owns the rights to. Oh crap. To modern audiences and also get a great movie out of it. So anyhow, yeah, so you get the Witherstorm story, and actually a couple ideas for what you call this movie, free of charge, but I mean I guess you technically own the rights to whatever this is anyway. So we could have The Witherstorm. Doesn't that, and then maybe The Witherstorm, a Minecraft movie, something like that. Could have Minecraft: The Order of the Stone, which was also, by the way, what the game was originally going to be called, where they dropped the Order of the Stone part. And that, it's a double reference. One, it references the name of the group of heroes that exists within Minecraft Story Mode from the original group that, was being idolized by the main cast and then eventually became the main cast. And the name of that in itself is a reference to the original name of the game. So it's a double reference. That'd be cool. Anyhow, so that's what you do with the first movie in this series. The second movie in this series, now what that would be kind of depends, because the second half of season 1 of Minecraft Story Mode, you could probably do a couple episodes out of it. Obviously, the YouTubers in the Haunted Mansion dinner party story, that one completely cut that out of the theatrical releases. That wouldn't make much sense. Most of that is dead references anyway. Cut that one could definitely be cut out. But you could get probably a couple movies out of it. Certain parts of that could stand on their own as movies. So you get the and maybe wouldn't make sense to be the same movie due to how the story isn't as one giant coherent thing. It's more of a series of smaller adventures that they're going on. So you get the Scott. I mean, from what I remember, it's been a hot second since I've done Minecraft Story. Maybe I should actually stream going back to Minecraft Story Mode. It'd be interesting. Anyhow, I can't entirely do that right now because I don't have either season with me at all. Basically at all, but I could do that. I do have them, so at home. I could do that. Anyhow, regardless. But yes, from what I can remember, the 3 ones that really poke out at me from this was the Magical Chicken Skyblock. Go back to this. So yeah, we had the Magic Chicken Skyblock. The how do I explain this actually? The computer, the AI computer overlord, and what were they called? The Grandmasters. I forget what they're actually called. Those are the three stories I remember. So the Chicken Skyblock one, which was the first part of the second half of season 1, which is where they found themselves at this magnificent sky island run by this lady who had this magical chicken that was just pooping out random resources and spawn eggs. Okay. Then I think after that was the murder mystery dinner party episode with the YouTubers. Obviously that'd be skipped. After that was the computer the computer bent on world domination or whatever, / that had achieved world domination because they basically mind controlled every human and mob in that dimension, I guess it would be. These are all kind of weird different dimensions. I think there was like a fifth one in there. Yeah, I think there was another one in here. I'm forgetting. It's that forgettable. But then there was like the last one, which was the Grandmasters one, where basically the Grandmasters that built the whole goddamn hallway of portals that they were trying to escape from. They ended up in their like thing because these were like real powerful guys. They like just built this whole like cruel like Hunger Games-esque thing. It's not Hunger Games, but this kind of battle arena thing just for their amusement. I can completely explain what the story of this was. So basically, they had these effective mini games for their contestants to play. Whoever wins gets rewarded, but whoever loses gets sent to the Nether Court's mines. And the thing is, if you win enough, eventually we'll set you free. But here's the thing, no one's ever been set free. Apart from, of course, Tim, who, by the way, spoiler, never existed. They don't plan on letting anyone leave. No one is allowed to leave. Everyone must remain there, entertaining these guys basically forever and suffering. That is effectively what it is, and eventually you defeat them. I don't remember how, actually. But some of that stuff would make for an interesting movies. Anyway, that's season 1. Season 2, I think all of season 2 could probably be made into a single movie, honestly. Maybe you split it up into 2 movies, but season 2 is also pretty good. The big bad in season 2, they didn't have a second part of season 2, so it's all the one front-loaded, coherent story was the admin. How do you top that, right? But the admin was this... Yeah, we're not there. This big evil... Not necessarily evil, but the guy who, he created challenges for the main characters to solve, and they tried to defeat him, and then he was like, thanks for showing me the way, and now I'm locking you in my eternal prison. And then they had to escape the prison... And then he was gonna just like reset their world. Well, it's not really how it happened. Basically, just put another world on top of their world. Kind of strange. Seems like it would take way too long to do that as well. Even as a server administrator now. To be fair, this stuff was. And actually, oh god, I actually streamed some of these episodes of Story Mode Season 2. Horrible quality. I had 2 megabytes per second upload internet at the time. I don't know how that even let me stream it in anything that was watchable. It was weird aspect ratio as well. But it did stream. Do not watch that. But yeah. Anyway, these stories, real great stories at the time, would make for good movies if you adapted them to movie form. Maybe alongside the current set of Minecraft movies, if you really want to get into those film franchises. And then you get to do things like what Lego does. You can do it like the Lego. To be fair, the Lego movie was actually a good movie made out of a kid's toy. Right? The sequel, Lego Movie 2, not as good, but it was still pretty good. Minecraft movie, it wasn't, not that good of a story. The Lego movie actually had an interesting story. But of course have since been other LEGO movies. There's been the LEGO Batman movie, the LEGO Ninjago movie. I can't remember other ones, but I know there have been other ones. You get the Minecraft Batman movie. It wouldn't surprise me if that happens eventually, considering all the goddamn brand partnerships they've done on Bedrock. They you know, on Bedrock they did a whole partnership with Crocs, the shoes. Yes, they did that. So it wouldn't surprise me if they get the Minecraft Batman movie or something like that at some point. It's also not like they haven't done collaborations with franchises before. Like, there was an Adventure Time episode that was, like, Minecraft-y. It was technically set in Minecraft, but no, it just did not. Because, like, I remember there was a redstone contraption, a weird elevator that they used to get out of the mine with that, where they had, like, stairs with pistons that kind of, like, pushed in like this to kind of push you up. I tried to make that in the actual game, and it just did not work. And it was like, the show lied to me. Yeah, that was a thing. It's not like they couldn't make multiple parallel, like, different movies set in Minecraft. It's the new Marvel, right? It's the Minecraft Connected Universe. Or the Minecraft Cinematic Universe. The new MCU. I know this actually would not be possible for them to do, but then I just imagine them taking various mod packs and turning those into movies. Which would not go well at all, because, you know, Mojang does not own the copyright or the ideas of the content in these mods. So, that probably wouldn't go well. Although, the Aether, they do own the developer who made that. Don't remember which developer that was, but they do own that developer because, you know, they work on Minecraft Java Edition, so they could theoretically make a movie out of that. And get this, they have the guy who created it on staff to be able to easily consult for the movie already. Genius idea. But I mean, obviously, that would probably just you couldn't make maybe they could make a whole movie out of that. But that would just be like a part of the movie where they're in that dimension, have to escape by going through various things to the mod. They got the various islands and mobs and stuff that mod contains. But just like there is an idea on how you could take. Oh crap! I forgot I was on toggle mode. That's an idea for how you could take various mods that have achieved varying degrees of popularity and turn them into movies, or at least put them in a movie. The Optifine movie. Oh no, that would be horrible. I mean, what would that even be? Just a normal movie set in Minecraft with fancy capes? Man, they didn't have any capes in the Minecraft movie. Oh yeah, would it have been better animated? Probably. Probably would have been better. And maybe they could have actually done stuff in Minecraft. Could have actually, you know, had scenes that were basically just footage from the game. Weird movie, guys. Weird movie. Anyhow. Oh, also, just completely unrealistic thing. How they portrayed the Woodland Mansions, pretty unrealistic. For one, the actual breakdown of who's on what floor was very incorrect. First of all, Vindicators exist on every floor of the Woodland Mansion. You're not escaping those inside the Woodland Mansion. Second of all, the Evokers. Those exist on the second and third floors of the mansion in specific rooms guarding... They don't even guard anything, to be fair. They're just there to be killed. They are kind of the prize. Endermen do not have any direct connection to the Woodland Mansion, regardless of what room you're in. That staircase they accessed to go from the second to the third floor was inaccurate to the how that staircase would generate in an actual Woodland Mansion in the game. Is this the end? No, I think we got a while to go yet. Yeah, the actual the actual staircase is not in the middle of a corridor. It's kind of off to the side in a kind of a side room that is purpose dedicated to that. And then finally, the room where they actually get the crystalline. First of all, that room is not exclusive to the third floor. In fact, actually, I don't think it even generates on the third floor. So, whoops. And secondary, none of the chests in that room contain loot. And they never have. So, that's inaccurate on many, many levels. Crap, I'm out of cobblestone. And there's the goddamn end. Okay, well, go back to the base to get more cobblestone. Breed the pigs on our way. Yeah, I have, some, inactions. Oh yeah, also, Steve is a horrible miner. When they get into the redstone mines, there is so much redstone ore just like on the walls and stuff. It's like, oh my gosh, Steve, you are a horrible miner. There's so much ore right freaking there. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, I think I got them all. Alright. Shoo, Cobblestone Town. I gotta sleep at the bed at this portal first, otherwise I'll be sent to spawn. Whee. Come on. Oh, I'm crouching, dang it. I forgot I was on toggle crouch. Okay, spawn set. Whee! Beep, beep, whee. Cobblestone's over this way. On this island of random junk that I just have sitting here. This stuff probably won't fit into the base all that much. I'm shifting, apparently. But yeah, hopefully I'll, over the summer, get to doing a bunch more work on the base. That is my hope, at least. We're gonna actually fill out this base a little bit. Putting some other cool stuff in there. More than just what we got right now. But of course, I gotta be inspired to do stuff. I do have still on my agenda build a bunch of tiny little filler buildings around what I got right now. It's on the list of things I gotta do. Probably at the beginning of the next episode at this point. Not the episode where I'm doing this stuff, but the episode after that. But yeah, I'll have a bunch of other non-base related projects to do after I get done with this. But hey, maybe they'll help out the base. Maybe. Oh yeah, I also got to design something to go over my what's it? Or my concrete converter. Right, I got to design a building for that. Because I built that to build all this, and then I just haven't covered it up yet. Yeah, this season has I've so far not been the most on the ball with making episodes this season. Then again, other people haven't played that much this season either. So, not that they played much last season. I will say though, probably for the best, because at least last year, towards the end of the season, obviously things changed, but for the majority of last season, I actually I was really consistent with those videos. There was a couple times when I didn't, but I was generally really consistent with putting out one video every week. I was kind of putting unnecessary stress on myself to make sure I got the video done every week. Yeah, I don't think that would have worked very well in the fall semester of this year. Considering I had a lot of stress, and I don't know how well I don't know if I'm ever going to do it again, but the summer I just couldn't because I was working too much. And I don't know how well anything like that's going to work in the fall semester of this year. Because I don't know what my course load is going to be like. This semester, I probably, if I wanted to, could have gotten out a Cool Craft episode every single week. Because I probably had that much free time. But obviously, I wanted to, take my time and do some other things, like, that's the flying machine no, not that one. The flying machine that we gotta worry about is on the other end. Okay. But, like, one of the things, for instance, something I've been doing a couple times this semester is I've made development videos on my game, which it usually takes like a week for me to make one of those. But doing that has obviously not allowed me to be making Cool Craft episodes at the same time, but I've liked doing that. I've actually made progress on my game. And I think I got a plan for what I'm doing in the next episode, which maybe I'm going to record that after I get the Cool Craft episode for all this done. Because I do want to try to release the next major update for my game in May. Roughly a year after the last major update. Which would also be, I think, the 5-year anniversary of the game? Dang. It's been a long time. Of course, by this point in Minecraft's history, it already become, like, one of the best-selling games of all time. Heck, I bought the game at 5 years into Minecraft's existence. It is actually shocking how much crap happened in, like, the first 5 years of Minecraft's existence. We went all the way from just, you jumping around in a world made of grass and stone and only being able to place cobblestone. All the way from that to 1.7.10 in 5 years. That seems ridiculous today. That includes all of the alpha and beta stages, the Minecraft Classic, what we have now, the existence of the creations of creative, survival mode, multiplayer servers, mods, so much happened within those 5 years that it's ridiculous. And then the next 5 years to Minecraft's 10-year anniversary, which would have been around the time that I started Coolcraft, actually. Actually, I vaguely remember that. Comparatively less happened. Within that time, we got 1.8 to 1.1213. One of those two updates. Maybe it was maybe it was 1.14. 1.14, I'll say. We got to, and that's how I figured out when I actually made my Minecraft account was around was like the day after Minecraft turned 5, I believe. Something like that. That was like the day before, but it was right around then. I had no idea about that when I bought the account, by the way. It was just like the day we were able to buy it. But yeah, what happened? But yeah, within within those 5 years, we got from 1.8. We got 1.8 to 1.14, I believe. It's a sizable amount of stuff, but less than the first 5 years. And then arguably we got the least within the the last 5 years, as we got from 1.15 to 1.20.4, I believe, about this time last year. Or 1.20.5. I think that happened. I don't entirely remember when 1.20.5 came out. That was around the 15th anniversary, so we'll say 1.20.5. So let's see. Well, what content was actually included there? So we got the bees and honey, the bugs and bees update. I think it should have been called that. Buzzy bees. That's kind of lame. After that, we got 1.16, the Minecon. Actually, no, the Minecon before when they announced 1.6, the Nether update. That was the last good Minecon, by the way, or the Minecraft Live, whatever it's called. That was the last good one because that one was it was half in person. It was actually live. They had, you know, actually interesting and relevant mini games and crap that they were doing in real life. Like they had like random people. I don't know who these people were. I still don't know who these people are. Come in and do like various bee and honey related games in real life or whatever. It was interesting. I remember I was touring RIT on that day, or my brother was. I was watching Minecraft Live. Anyhow, that was very interesting. What happened? Anyhow, we got the Nether update, and then we got Caves and Cliffs Part 1, Caves and Cliffs Part 2, the Not So Wild update, and then of course Trails and Tales. Is that what? That's what 1.20's official name was, right? Outside of the Nether update, none of that was particularly... I mean, technically the Caves and Cliffs as a whole was pretty big. Overhaul of world generation and stuff. But outside of that, none of that was all that big. None of that was all that much like the previous 5 or 10 years had given us. So development definitely slowed down a bit. And these next 5 years are off to a very slow start, considering they've completely ditched the traditional update system after 1.21. And they're doing game drops now. Yay, game drops. Small, tiny, no one asked features. But hopefully, and I'm pretty sure this is what's happening in the background, they're not just sinking all their development time into these tiny little features that are barely worth it. We're gonna have to wait for the pigs to be ready now. What they're doing is, yes, they're putting a few developers on some of this, you know, smaller stuff where they have a bunch more developers working on much bigger, longer-term projects. I guess one of those is technically vibrant visuals. That will actually be a substantial change to the game, because they have to, for Java at least, for Bedrock, who knows what's going on, but for Java, they have to rewrite the entire rendering engine of the game in order to accomplish that. Kinda needs it, though, let's be honest. So that's going to be a big thing. But I'm fairly certain that in the background they're also working on other, more interesting gameplay-related updates. Like probably working on an end update that's bigger than the Nether update. And they're only going to announce that and get it released when they're ready. And that'll probably be what 1.22 is. For we're stuck on 1.21 until then. So yeah. But yeah, actually, so in the middle 5 years, I'll call them for now. Let's see what we got. We got all of 1.8, which 1.8 was actually a pretty big update. Not necessarily all of that, seemingly groundbreaking content-wise, but I guess it's just so big because it stuck around for so long. They had kind of ditched the item ID system for commands, and you now have to use identifiers in commands. That was kind of annoying. Or at least annoying at first. Obviously, 1.8 allowed you to place buttons on the floor and the ceiling. That was new. I think it also added a bunch of other types of doors, and even iron trapdoors actually I think came out in that update. Wait, did that add all the other doors? No, I think that was later. Is that 1.14 that added all the different door types? I do not remember. Of course, 1.8 was also kind of a lame. It was kind of annoying because it added Alex as like a default skin, which is kind of Do we need another default skin? Especially, do we need to change what the default skin of existing people is? Because for some reason, I don't even know if this is the situation now. It's been so long since I've had to deal with this. But for some reason, the default skin for my character was Alex. Despite the fact that I set it to Steve. I tried to make it Steve. It was always, whenever it had to revert to default because it was offline or everything, always Alex for some stupid reason. Of course, now they've added a ridiculous number of other default skins. So I don't even know what my default skin is now. Or what my skin would default to now. Not that it matters, because obviously my custom skin generally works all the time at the moment. Can I feed you yet? No. It is kind of strange when you're actually doing like modding stuff to Minecraft. If you don't either specify your username / do actual account authentication stuff with your modding environment, you will just get a random skin when you log in. And so it's just one of the defaults. One of them. What else did this game do? Anyhow, so that was 1.8. Then we got 1.9, the combat update. That took a long time due to the Microsoft restructuring. And it seemed like it was going to be big. It wasn't actually that big. Obviously, they had the end islands and end cities, Elytras. That was pretty cool. But Elytras were completely useless at the time, and so there was no firework rockets. You couldn't boost at all. You're just coasts. So yeah, that was the thing. Of course, the combat changes, which are actually good, by the way. They're actually good combat changes that the lame people of the time didn't like, because they were afraid of people being able to actually understand how combat worked. To be fair, I will say, a lot of new people don't quite understand how the fucking indicator shit works. They'll be like spam clicking like this, and it's like, no, you gotta wait, don't spam click, you gotta wait for the indicator to fill up. Regardless, this is a way more intuitive combat system than the old system, because there are just random quirks that are just, there's no way that you can know about them unless you either do a frick ton of experimenting or are told about them. Like there's some sort of like combo thing where you can just like infinitely knock people back and not let them hit you, and not fair, not intuitive, bad game mechanic. Okay, I can breed them now. So it is therefore a good thing. And over the fence. Yeah. It's a good thing they got rid of that. Anyhow, so after 1.9, 3 months later we got 1.10, which was very shocking. And that was like one of the smallest major updates. We got magma blocks, polar bears, and bone blocks. That's it. Very strange update. I don't know why. But that was 1.10 anyway. After 1.10, we got Minecraft 1.11, the exploration update. This was actually pretty decent. This added woodland mansions, observers. I can't remember what else it added. It added some other crap as well. And then in like 1.11.2, rockets could finally be used to fly to boost Elytra flight. 1.11.2. Oh, also something that happened during the 1.11 snapshot cycle, remember this, is they actually changed a little bit how hunger works. So hunger now depletes way slower than it used to. I remember this change being a thing. I think it was an Exumafoid video where he was testing it. He was like, oh yeah, wow, that's way slower. I don't know how we worked before then. Yeah, so then after that we had 1.12, the World of Color update. That was actually pretty big. Okay, I guess there was a fair amount of stuff added. Not nearly, groundbreakingly big, but it was pretty big. We got the, obviously they actually changed all the colors of all the different wools. Green wool for now, so here, let's see. Well, okay, well, I hear it. Green wool, it's a bit of a better color than what it is before. I still don't really like this color of green, but it's better. Red wool is actually more like vibrantly red. And there's a bunch of other tweaks and colors that happen to wool. Hardened clay was renamed to terracotta, and they added the glazed terracottas. I don't know why some people said those blocks ruined the game. Just don't frickin' use them then. But those had the cool mechanic of not sticking to slime. Then, of course, the almighty concrete and the concrete powder, of course. Can't live without them these days. There's also probably some other stuff that happened in 1.12, but I really can't think of anything that really changed in 1.12. But yeah, that was that, and then after that we got 1.13, the update that basically changed everything. So first of all, one of the things that happened, actually originally 1.13 was supposed to be purely a technical update, which was reflected in kind of how long it took to get out. It originally was supposed to just be an update where they changed how commands worked. So this was 1.13. This sort of like changing commands, changing how the execute command worked, all that was supposed to be what was added. All that was basically just what was added in 1.13. We got data pack. 1.12 introduced functions. Functions completely changed with data packs. 1.13 definitely was for the better though. Another thing they added is they added this operator. So before you just had like tildes for specifying where you want to go. This little operator here is relative to your facing direction. Where this indicates forwards, backwards. You can put like a number out after this to indicate 5 blocks forwards, 5 blocks backwards. This is up and down, and this is of course left and right. Kind of interesting and useful stuff for commands. Of course, they completely at this point ditched the numerical IDs for blocks because they were running out of them. Nope. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We don't have enough of these. Dang it. I should have been more vigilant about making sure to come back here a couple more times. Dang it. But yeah. That was, and there's also a lot of other like behind the scenes technical stuff. A lot of stuff changed, like a lot of old bugs and stuff that existed in 1.12, like hopper chunk loaders and RNG manipulation, which wasn't actually known about at the time, by the way, got completely removed and patched out in 1.13. They also introduced a ton of performance issues in 1.13, especially around water because you know. As we know today, Update Aquatic, which when it was announced was actually intended for 1.14, but due to how long 1.13 was taking and how little content there actually was, they merged 1.13 and 1.14 together into just 1.13 being the Aquatic update. Which, the Update Aquatic was, you know, and so that's where we got all the new revamped oceans, kelp, iceberg biomes, a bit of new terrain generation, which we've kind of kept from here on out. You know, it got changed, but the old basics of terrain generation were overhauled in 1.13 a bit as part of that technical overhaul that the game got. A lot of stuff just became incompatible. It was a mess. They changed how TNT duping worked. The previous methods for TNT duping no longer worked. They thought they patched it out because TNT duping I think was discovered back in like 1.12. But then somehow coral fans were now able to be used for TNT duping. Who knows why? They just don't want to patch it out anymore because people would be mad at this point. Oh, dang it, I entered the goddamn pen again. Come on, get me out of here. Okay. I'm good. But yeah, what else? But yeah, also in addition to weirdness of 1.13, I mean, this is all, again, that middle 5-year stretch, so you know, there's actually some decently big stuff in there. 1.13 was also weird and anomalous because of the big under-the-hood refactors, partially actually. Mods just didn't really exist for 1.13, but there was multiple reasons for that. The biggest thing was Forge decided that this was a perfect time to just completely rewrite their mod loader or something like that. Forge was the dominant mod loader at the time. So they were like, okay, yeah, we'll just rewrite our entire mod loader, and until like basically the end of the Minecraft updates, the end of 1.13's lifespan is when they actually released Forge for 1.13, where they apparently changed a bunch of stuff. So mods effectively did not develop for 1.13. There were other mod loaders and stuff, and Optifine took the opportunity to just go to their own standalone mod loading implementation, which is kind of bad, but, you know, whatever. Okay, we got more pigs. Let's go. Yeah, it was partially out of that, and partially out of a lot of other dickish things that the Forge people were doing, that we got Fabric in 1.14, because they're like, okay, we don't want to be... my laptop just died, I think. Nah, whatever. Some of the mod developers were like, okay, we don't want to like be waiting on you forever. We don't want to like wait on these people forever with this closed source project. We're gonna make our own thing, which is much lighter weight, which is Fabric. And that's history now. But yeah, anyhow, so that's the middle, like kind of like the middle 5 years of Minecraft. But again, compared to the first 5 years, that's nothing. The game went from nothing to being 1.7.10 in those first 5 years. Again, all of beta, all of alpha, all of classic. The Secret Friday updates, those were a thing within those first 5 years. Like, the game, it was just, it went from something you could play in your web browser to being a standalone. I mean, that's partially because Java deprecated things, because actually, we're just going to completely change topics here to Java. One of the original like big selling point of Java was that you could make like interactive and animated web applications with Java, not JavaScript. Full fat Java. That was one of the big selling points of original Java. And you could, in fact, you were actually able to run like jars embedded in the browser. That was how it was supposed to work originally. And Minecraft was actually able to take advantage of this back in the day until they got rid of this feature, because few people were using it at this point because JavaScript was around and the default language of the web. We had like HTML5 starting to roll out. And also it was a very big security risk, as that was basically you could go to a website and they could execute basically anything on your computer. Turns out, not a good idea for security if you want to just letting any website just run raw frickin' Java code on your computer. Not a very secure idea. Sure, maybe the security manager was in play at that point, but there are ways around that. So like, can I breed you again? No. It just made one of those the babies grow up faster. I'll go sleep at the other bed here quickly. So yeah, that was a thing. And that was actually how MinecraftForFree.com worked, is it would just host the the Minecraft game jar in a browser, and you could just play it in a browser. That was absolutely piracy. And when Minecraft stopped supporting being played in the browser, because Java deprecated it or whatever, they were like, do not click yes to going to the new version. That will break it. And to be fair, it did. In the way that the Minecraft for Free stuff was shut down, is like they basically challenged Notch to a Quake game, if I remember correctly, and they lost. Strange stuff. Yeah, also, just thinking about it, Notch was only around for like the first 5-6 years of the game. More of the game existed without him than with him, and yet the brain, dang it. And yet it's, he's remembered as this, great guy in the Minecraft or whatever. Okay, while you listen to this raid, I'm gonna go quickly to the bathroom quickly. Alright then. Can any of you be bred now? Yeah. Some of you can. Oh gosh. The air is suddenly very dry in here. I don't know what's up with that. And I'm over. Yay. Weather has been crazy here this last week. Crazy. I mean, it's not that crazy. So, like, it's gotten quite warm. On Thursday, in fact, I was feeling like I needed sunscreen walking back from class. And then I see my roommate in a winter fucking coat outside. Oh, gosh. Yeah, then it was super rainy yesterday. And a little bit today. So the temperatures kind of dropped, which is nice. I'm not burning up in here anymore. I'm also not... Oh, right, it's raining. That's hydrating the apartment. But yeah, I'm also not running like Planet Coaster or something intensive at the moment. So, you know, that also helps me not burn alive in here. Nope. No. Oh, for frick's sake. Waiting for the pigs to grow up. Oh, not necessarily grow up, but waiting for the pigs to be breedable again. How many pigs do I got here now? 1, 2, 3. You know, yeah, screw that. We're gonna do this the cheaty way. Vect give at each type equals pig distance, comma distance equals dot 10 dot 10, and we'll just say glowing. 23 pigs right here. That'll be like 30 seconds of glowing for them. We'll eventually stop glowing. They're very fart bubbly right now. Alright. Here, I'll look up how long it actually does, how long you do actually have to wait before you can breed stuff. I know this takes like 10 minutes to grow up, but let's, how often can you breed animals in Minecraft? Look at that. Okay. Okay, this AI response is very dumb. There is no limit to how many times you can breed them. I asked how often, not how many. Cool down. 5 minutes. Thank you so much, Google. 5-minute cooldown. Okay, it's a 5-minute cooldown between breedings. Which means we're gonna not be very interesting stuff we're doing on stream here. Gosh dang it. So much fun. Anyhow. Oh no. I'm having a hard time thinking of things to talk about. Don't know. Not much interesting stuff. Oh. Here's something interesting I said that I could talk into the void about, as it's probably what I'm doing right now. But hey. The Pope died the day after Easter. Coincidences! Coincidences, man! But you know what's even more of a coincidence? They met with a certain Trump official Yeah, we'll call him that. Certain Trump official, the day before he died. Ah, yeah, very interesting coincidence, I'll say. He met with the U.S. Vice President, Dickface McGee, the day before he died. Coincidence? I think not. Yeah. The Vice President killed the Pope. What can I say? It's just not... It's undeniable, man. What do you mean you want, evidence, logic? Well, I can't give you evidence, otherwise it wouldn't be a CIA operation. What do you mean that you can't just get a stroke by meeting someone? That's what the CIA wants you to think. They've developed technology or whatever, neurotoxins or something that you can cause someone to have a stroke just by staring into their soul or something. I don't know. Something the Russians would do, that's for sure. The CIA also wants that technology, and they've cracked the code. They cracked the code, and for some reason... No, okay, so it's just because they can doesn't mean... Why would they? Besides the fact that J.D. Vance is not no Christian, he's some sinning Protestant. That works on multiple levels, by the way. So okay, but what motive? Why would he want to kill him? Well, for one, the Vatican can't really declare war on anyone. They don't have a standing military, or if they do, it's like the Pope's bodyguards. What are they going to do against the strongest military in the world, right? I mean, it looks real bad. So that's why you make it look like a stroke, like an accident, Oh, they can be bred again. Heck yeah. Oh, stop trying to eat the carrots. They're not for me. They're for the pigs. There's pig feed. Okay, let me eat my food. I did not just eat that in front of them. Ooh, if you don't behave, that's where you're gonna end up. Okay. We got a decent amount here now. Anyhow, okay, but motive, you say. He didn't have a motive to kill it. I mean, why kill the world leader? Well, you see, maybe this wasn't as big of a headlines, but I think this was last year. The Pope fired a bishop in Texas for kind of being a dick. Or, I don't entirely remember what it is. I know the bishop was having very stupid, fiery rhetoric, and he was kind of disobeying the policy of the church. And I think I don't entirely remember what happened here, but the Pope was telling him, cool it, man. That's not how we're rolling here. And he just continued to disobey and be like, no, guns. We gotta kill all the people having the abortions or whatever. Do not take that out of context. And the Pope was like, you're fired. And because this is America and corruption, he somehow got in with the vice president. It was like, do me a favor, bud, and the Pope. And so that's what happened. He killed the Pope, guys. The evidence is undeniable. There's no... God, this is a dumb conspiracy theory. But it's true! And, until we get the Pope files, we're not gonna know for sure. Gosh. But in relation to this, because, now that the Pope's dead, after the 9 days of mourning, there's got to be an election for the next Pope, where where cardinals vote on who they want to have as Pope. And I learned some interesting things about this sort of process. I mean, one, we know it's the cardinals, but it's not all the cardinals. It's cardinals under 80, I believe, or something like that. There's an age limit to who can vote on the Pope. That is very interesting. So not all the cardinals can. Also interesting, Pope Francis appointed over 100 of the 135 eligible voting cardinals. Interesting. That doesn't necessarily mean that they're carbon copies of him and are gonna, and would, if given the chance to be Pope, would do anything like what he's done. But it's a good sign. Another interesting little fact that I've learned about a good chunk of the cardinals that have been appointed is a large chunk of them are from the global south. That is, not first world or sometimes even not second world countries. Basically third world countries that happen to generally be south of the first world countries. Apart from Australia, which is south of all of them, but still in the global north. I have no idea what that was. Okay. Okay, let me just make sure that I can't eat anything before I go. Okay, I can't feed them yet. But, that's interesting. Historically, most popes have been, popes. Yes, popes. Actually, I think historically, aside from Francis, all popes have been from, like, Europe, Roman Empire areas of the world. Europe / like Mediterranean areas. I don't know about necessarily Northern Africa. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a pope from Northern Africa. But I think more like Europe, Roman Empire, the Roman Empire in Europe, and kind of like the Middle Eastern areas that were controlled by the Roman Empire. Those areas are, I think, typically where the pope has been from. And likewise, historically, most cardinals have also been from there. Obviously, we've had some cardinals in the past, I believe, from... I'm going off of what I'm thinking logically about this. Most cardinals have been from Europe, but there's been a good chunk of them that have probably also been from... there's also been their fair shake of cardinals from North America, United States, probably. Maybe a couple from Asia and South America. Obviously, Pope Francis was from Argentina, so he obviously was one of those. But now there's a large chunk of cardinals, in fact, a majority, I'd say, who are not from first world nations, I would say. Very interesting stuff. Of course, the process of electing a new pope is a very, very internally political process, and has produced some, and on occasion has resorted to blackmail before. Fun fact: blackmail to elect a pope. That sounds so bad, just so bad. But again, the pope is just a man, and history has shown us that the pope can be a very, very flawed man who has had concubines in the past. That, if you know at all anything about the pope, what the pope is supposed to be, that is incredibly bad. The pope is, supposed to be a priest, and priests are supposed to be what's called celibate. Basically, they are in a relationship with God, and so they're virgins, basically. They never, not to say that they never necessarily had a girlfriend when they were like 16 or whatever, but they never get into an actually committed long-term relationships, never have kids, never do it, that sort of thing. And then in the Middle Ages, there were popes that were literally going and collecting, getting a body count like, I don't know, like some of the lowest people that are generally considered low people in society today. There's also a pope in the Middle Ages that had his predecessor dug up, his dead predecessor dug up and put on trial for imagined crimes. Obviously, he was found guilty, and then they dumped his body in a river or something like that. Wild shit. Very wild shit. But yeah. Oh yeah, there was also someone I was talking to at my school who was I think they were in a graduate quantum computing class. They were contemplating trying to use the 9 days of mourning to get out of the test as a religious exemption. And they took the test or whatever, but it's just technically, I think they'd have to grant that for a religious exemption. Well, at least allow you to take the test later. I don't know how this stuff works. But like, it could be the fact that it's like, oh, it's a legitimate religious exemption. I mean, we can verify the Pope died. Everyone knows. I would think most people know that. I imagine there are a lot of people who actually don't know that because they don't pay attention to mainstream media, so they don't like watch the news on TV. They only consume their personalized feeds on their phone, and maybe their personalized feeds don't talk about the Pope's death at all. Like actually, the day the Pope died, I was actually informed by my mom about it. I actually didn't know about it before that, even despite the fact that I scrolled Reddit and saw the picture of J.D. Vance with the Pope. Has it been 5 minutes yet? Yes, it has. How many pigs do we got here now? Let's check. 38. That's enough. Okay, we can actually get some action here. It's been 1 hour 57 minutes. Okay, so I think I'll try putting in as many pigs as possible. I mean, a bunch of them are young pigs, though. Anyhow, let me build a bit of a platform over here I can use to, like, yank the pigs out of the pen. And then we'll track them along the, and we'll put in a torch here, just so that we don't get mobs spawning here. So if I select whatever pig that is. How much farther up do I have to go? Oh crap. Oh right, no, it's not a big deal. Because they like, they actually fixed it at some point so that mobs dangling on a lead do not just accumulate fall damage while they're bouncing. That used to be a thing. It was very annoying if you got a mob dangling like that. They were dead unless they were immediately put back onto the ground or, you know, dropped in water. Magic! See, that's what's supposed to happen right there with the pigs. And then we just remove all this, and we get the next pig. So we put that on a leash. Yoink! Okay, cool. To the next one. Away! By the way, I'm not entirely sure if it had to be actually pigs or could have been any animal, and pigs just were a convenient choice. But I'm using pigs. Because, yeah, they actually were like the closest farm animal to this somehow. That is actually impressive. Yeah, now they will just sit here forever and ever and ever, forever. Waiting till the day when I actually turn this machine on and they all die. That is how this whole system works. Hopefully I don't cause a pig to get knocked off it. Hopefully I don't get knocked off of this. That would be annoying. Walking straight, as long as I don't fall off, I shouldn't have to worry about the pigs falling. We should also have some pigs left over at the end, so that's good. And it's becoming night. We'll sleep once we get back to the pigs. Alright, perfect. The AI is doing weird things with leads. We love this game, people. Love this game. Now waiting for nighttime or sleep time to actually fall. That is at 18:32 and a half, but you know, we only see XX. That why does I actually want to know Mini HUD? I'm pointing at my screen like you can see this. Mini HUD. Why does it show an XX after the minutes? I guess like right here. What's with the XX? There's never populate to Minecraft seconds. What is the point of that? Anyhow, next, customer please. away we go. Yeah, then after the stream, I'll have to go and put in. Interesting. The pigs and leads render farther away than shulker boxes do. Yeah, after I'm done with the stream, I'll continue putting in the shulker boxes. So, I don't know what I'm streaming next week, because like this is hopefully going to be all completely finished by the time Friday rolls around. Maybe I'll. Don't know what that was, but okay. Heck, maybe I'll have. Oh, dang! I almost got knocked off by the pig. Maybe I'll have. Maybe I've actually activated this machine by the time Friday rolls around. We'll see. We'll see. Theoretically, after replacing the shulker boxes, the hardest part of this entire process. What is it? The hardest part of this entire process is probably building the nether side that links all these portals. Even that's not that hard. That's just placing down a bunch of obsidian and like sprint backwards. Oh, come on. Here, let me... Okay. Finally got this pig. And we're off. Physics in this game, hey. But yeah, in 1.21.6, lead physics are obviously changing a bit. No longer gonna have that bouncy behavior. But yeah. First, we got. I actually have no idea if the mods that I developed for the server even function in 21.5 because I haven't updated the server. I don't know. Some of them probably will, and some of them probably won't. I don't know how. I know Mojang's changed a lot at this point, but I don't exactly know how much they've changed and how much breaking of changes that's going to be. Probably going to break something. But what? Who knows? They probably changed their chat messages exist. So, like, probably going to have to rewrite the Discord. Probably going to have to rewrite the Discord mod. Or, update that. Spectator thing, I hope that would... backup should be the one that is almost certainly not broken, because typically with that, it's just like, the game's... Oh, what I really should do with that one, actually, is I should actually use, like, the official way to figure out where the world folder is, instead of just reading server.properties, which is what it currently does. That's functional for servers, but not if you're using it in single player for some stupid reason. Don't use it in single player. That's dumb. Now, maybe I could also look into doing other compression, other types of compression, because currently the backup mod supports zip, gzip, so deflate, spacing on it supports LZMA, LZ4, XZ, I believe. LZ4 and XZ take forever on large worlds. I don't know why. It's like, whoa, this library that I'm using at very least is so goddamn slow. Weird thing is, which one was it? Was it LZMA that is basically instant, surprisingly, and was slightly larger than gzip, I believe. I don't know, on the GitHub repository for the backup mod, I've listed my testing on a old Coolcraft world, basically. I was just get rid of this. But yeah, I was testing my backup mod on an old Coolcraft world. It's a sizable world, so you get some real time-based data on that. And there's like LZMA and XZ. They did a pretty good job at compressing it. They did take off a considerable amount of bytes, but no, I need to actually leash something first. What they did not do is they did not do it in anything less than a couple of hours. Because no joke, it did take like over like 1.5 hours to do that compression. Yikes. And unfortunately, I don't think we could speed this up by doing it on like multiple threads at the same time. Maybe, but I don't think so. Well, actually no, we can't because of how the compression works. Because it's put into a tarball for these things. Because they're not like archive formats that can have multiple different files in a single compressed thing. They're just compressed files, which means you have to put them into an archive, so a tarball. If I was to instead put it in like a 7Z file, that can do multiple types of compression. I don't entirely know what they are. I think it's mostly just deflate, but maybe some other stuff. Then we might be able to do it in a more parallel fashion. Yeah, because all files have to go into a single tarball and therefore a single output stream. And we're compressing the tarball, not the contents of the tarball. It causes some really slow issues. It causes some real speed issues with LZMA and XE4, which I mean, it doesn't. Decompressing is obviously way faster, but it's like, how do these things go up so far? How do these pigs fly so high? I don't understand it. And then they're just like, wee, plop. Anyhow. Yeah, that was an adventure trying to get this compression algorithms to work. Because my original plan was to write like the tar balling output stream myself. But when I did, despite the fact that what I created looked byte identical to something I made with real software, it's just was not being read as a real tarball, which is so goddamn confusing. I was using a hex editing thing, and I was looking at the files like, these look precisely the same, but it still didn't work. And then finally I just like gave it and I was like, fine, I'll use the library that does this. It also provides compression algorithms. What's really annoying is the IDE was telling me like, oh yeah, or it was just straight up suggesting me to use the classes from this library without the library being installed. It was very annoying actually. It's like, what the heck do you mean? Okay, eventually I was just like, you know, screw it, I'm gonna use the library. And I did, and it worked. And it still does work. The whole reason why our backups on this season are currently taking 30 seconds to complete is because I am running them through a simple, pretty standard gzip compression. If I ever get a faster internet connection, I'll set up a thing to just allow the different people on the server to straight up download backups whenever they want. I mean, they're still like close to a gigabyte in size. So on the current internet connection that Spectrum gives us, it would still take 7 fucking years for them to download and completely freaking destroy the internet for anyone actually trying to use it. Please, fiber gods, please answer our prayers. Bring fiber to the home, to my neighborhood. Because with the there are companies near where I live that do fiber, just not at my freaking house. With the speeds that they provide on their fiber connections, it would legitimately be not an issue to offer like world downloads to the members. It would also be very convenient if I needed a world download here at my home, because I can currently like set up a thing where I can allow myself to download a world download off the server, but it just takes forever. Compression, automatically compressing it has helped. It saves a bunch of disk space as well. I could go look up how much disk space the current season, or how much the disk space backups are currently taking up. There's a pretty sizable amount of, then again, as far as I know, the actual world size for this season isn't too big. I mean, I probably did quite a number on that during this project, just generating all the chunks for the project here. Probably did inflate it a bit by a non-insignificant amount. But the backups probably still hovering around 1 gigabyte in size, I'd say. Compression doesn't do too much, as the compression algorithm used, I think is technically deflate, works best on text, I believe. Because the way text works, typically, at least English text, you're not using that many characters, right? They're using like, uppercase, lowercase letters, maybe a little bit of punctuation. Not that much in characters. So the actual byte values represented, relatively low. A relatively low variety in the like values of bytes used, and often words have a bit of repetition and pattern to them, which makes them considerably easier to compress compared to just random binary data, which is effectively what we get saved in Minecraft. Fun fact, by the way. Your Minecraft worlds are the actual Minecraft chunk data, I believe, is already compressed a bit. I think I figured that out. It already, I mean, obviously there is the option to compress with LZMA, compress your chunk data with LZMA, but other things like your level.dat file and other .dat files are already gzip compressed. So we're really compressing the compressors. Because we're combining multiple files, it does help, but it does less than you would like, because it's already a bit compressed. Anyway, what was I gonna... Calculator. Here, let me get the next pig, and then I'll calculator my calculatings. So, make sure we got it. Okay, cool. I think this might be the last one in this direction. So we got the 26 lowercase letters plus the 26 uppercase letters. And okay, so we got like let's see what other like period or punctuation and special characters do we want to also include on this list here? Let's say your periods, your commas, like I don't know, question mark, exclamation point, maybe your @ symbol, you're writing emails down in these files. Let's give it 10 extra characters. That is 62 characters that it needs to be able to compress that. That's nothing. Out of 256 possible values, only having 62 is actually very convenient for compression, and especially when they come in patterns that are potentially slightly repetitious. Oh, and space, I guess, is also in there. But, say 64. 64 is a way easier number. That is still like you could just chop 2 bytes off. Or 2 bits off, and you can use less bits for it, combining stuff together in the compression algorithm. Even if we were just using standard ASCII, you could still start like mushing things together, because standard ASCII is only 7 bits, not 8 bits. So if we wanted to just use standard ASCII, we could just say, okay, well, because we don't need that last bit, we could slowly combine things together, which over the course of a bunch of a lot of bytes does slowly start to add up in the number of actual bytes you need. Now, you do got to do effort to decode all this. Oh, no. Sorry, there is a fair few in this direction still. Great. Anyhow, here's your new home, Piggy. That almost was really bad. The way they just, like, jump to their position. Man. But yeah, you know, even that could work. But also, we can also, though, take advantage of the fact that there's a lot of characters in ASCII you're probably not using. First, there's a fair few special characters in ASCII that aren't being used. And there's a lot of control characters that you're not using as well. Like, byte 0. You're not using the null character. I can pretty much guarantee that there's no null characters in whatever you're typing. Likewise, the backspace character, because that is an actual character. Probably not using that either. The delete character. So there's probably a decent number of characters you're not using. So if we can say that, okay, we don't need to necessarily encode all those other byte values, and if we combine a bunch of stuff together, like if we're only saying, if you only have like 64 different byte values represented, we could remap each of those. You could remap each of the byte values you did use down into other values, and then combine. And then once every byte has been translated to its mapped value, squish them all together. Because 64, it's only like 4 bits. Wait, 6 bits. That's 6 bits. So we have 2 extra bits at the end. We're not using them. We just squish them out. In fact, with this 63, we could actually use 127. Yeah, could actually wait, 127? Yeah, we could actually use like 127 values with this scheme. It's still those 2 extra bits. Wait, or no. Now I'm getting a little bit confused. So here, let me calculate 2 to the 7th. Yeah, no, 127. Or no. No, wait, crap. Nah, 64 would be the same as just full ASCII. Dang it. Because, yeah, we're counting 0 in there, so the max value would be 63 for 6 bits. And 127 for 7 bits. And 255 for 8 bits. Dang. Anyhow. Why are we talking about compression? I'm not a compression scientist. I mean, the real thing you do with this is you do Huffman encoding, which is where you like take like trees of values. The common ones are assigned less bits, and the less common ones are assigned more bits. But that's a bit above what I can reasonably talk about. I don't know how compression algorithms work, to be fair. I just know they work, and they work pretty well sometimes. Other times they screw you over, and they screw your wife. But you know. Nothing that we have to really be concerned about now, though. Quantum safe compression. I don't know why that just popped into my head, but like, you know, we have quantum safe encryption, but we have quantum safe compression. Well, what does that mean? It means the compression is safe from quantum. Like, isn't that just all compression algorithms? No, they have to be specifically quantum safe. Do you mean algorithms that like use quantum mechanics? No, I don't know. I'm not a quantum scientist. Oh yeah, yeah. Something else interesting that I like heard through the grapevines at the school is that the national professors unions, so the college professors unions, which I think also includes like you know, adjuncts and lecturers and all that sort of stuff. I think there's one for like private colleges and one for public colleges. Regardless, the unions have decided to pool, or I think both the unions but also all the members have decided to pool their resources into one giant war chest that they can use to sue the government. when they're provoked or when the government does stuff they don't like, which is some pretty cool stuff. Because this is just a portion of the member dues. That's a lot. That's, there's like, thousands of colleges in the United States, I'd say. I actually don't know the exact number. We'll say thousands. Some of them have a lot of faculty, some of them have a little faculty. But member dues, I guess it depends on the union how member dues work. I think for some unions it might be a percentage of your wage versus others is just a flat fee. Regardless, some colleges have a lot of faculty, some colleges have little. But all around, that's a lot of union members. And some of the unions are even international. That's a lot of money. Fuck tons of money. You know what you could do with those money? With all that money? You could probably buy a house. Maybe even 2 houses. With an 8-year mortgage. That is, of course, a financial joke because housing is way too unaffordable in a lot of areas people want to live. But here's a tip. If you buy a house in somewhere where people don't want to live, it's way cheaper. Now, you might not have internet access, though, so keep that in mind. You might have to rely on Elon Musk for internet access. Not a good thing. Especially if you want to play video games. Not a good thing. Not that, Elon Musk... I don't know. Elon Musk isn't a gamer, obviously. He's a fake gamer. He pays people to play video games for him. For reasons. Oh, crap, I didn't... remove this. But the reason why Starlink and other satellite services aren't good for gaming is because the ping time is kind of bad. The bandwidth's okay, but the ping is not great because data from your computer has to go up to the up to space, bounce off the satellite, and then it depends on how the networks are set up and stuff. Realistically, it bounces off the satellite, comes back down to a base station here on Earth, and then goes through the normal internet to the destination. Let's hope that destination is not also satellite based, in which case it's gonna have to go back up to a satellite and down to the. Theoretically, what the original goal for Starlink was, and I have zero clue if they've ever actually managed to get anywhere on this, is your thing goes up to a satellite. Then the satellites use lasers to send that data to other satellites going around the circumference of the Earth, which at the speed of light, this could actually be faster than actual fiber optic cables on the ground, because speed of light in a vacuum is not the same as the speed of light in a fiber optic cable. Seems close, but on a scale of the distance of the Earth, it's actually there is actually a literal, measurable difference. And then, once it's got to the satellite closest to the destination base station, or even just destination satellite receiver if they're also on the network, it obviously comes back down. Now, it's still a non-insignificant amount of time communicating from Earth to space, but I think a long time ago, Real Engineering did a video about this and how if this technology actually did get implemented, it would actually be it could actually have an economic impact in the form of high-frequency trading. Because satellite interneting from London to New York could theoretically be faster than fiber interneting by a fraction of a second. Still, I think the ping time would be higher than gamers would like. Certainly, I would not like to have that high of a ping time. Now, imagine trying to game from Mars. You would be kicked from the server for... You would get kicked from the server because your connection would time out. The thing with Mars and communicating with Mars, is that our current internet would not work to communicate with Mars. Because in the best case scenario, I believe, it's about a 20-minute round trip from the Earth to Mars. Communication-wise. Best case scenario. If it's farther, if it's on the other side of the sun, fucking forget it, man. But that poses a problem because most TCP internet connections, which is what the world runs on, that's like, I think 5-minute timeout, I want to say. Yeah, you'd be like, your message would be like a quarter of the way done with its route, and your browser would time out, and then you wouldn't get the response. So I mean, obviously the ideal solution is that you have a caching server on Mars, which, when you make a request for specific web pages, will cache the results, if it can, so that the next time someone on Mars wants to fetch that web page, they could just get it from the caching server. Obviously, we'd have to develop special web browsers and protocols to be okay with this 20-minute delay, and probably just have a straight up fucking timer there on the loading saying expecting request in, and then just low progress bar. But that's, of course, if it's not cached. And obviously, when you request to the caching server, if it hasn't been requested in a hot second, it might serve you the stale version of the page it has. And if the TTL is expired or whatever on it, which it probably would be if it's reasonable, make another request to Earth to get the new version of the web page, and also forget real-time communicate. Yeah, but we'd have to have like a new iteration on TCP probably. You could just use UDP, I guess. The new iteration on TCP that allows for much longer ping times to go with Mars. TCPM, we'll call it. I don't know. I've been live for 2.5 hours. I don't know how much more I've got on this. It seems like I've gotten quite far down this. Okay, so I'm thinking what I'll do now is I'll just finish this side of the pigs, and then I'll do the rest off camera, because it is, getting a little bit late. And obviously I don't think anyone's watched the stream, so, I'm kind of just talking into the void the whole time, but, interesting questions. Also, the way I think would be more accurate with how web pages from Mars would work is your computer would, with your fancy browser, would send a request to NASA's server on Earth. NASA's server would then do the actual request. That wouldn't time out. And then it'd take its whatever NASA gets as a response would then be sent back to Mars. That's probably how it'd work. But yeah, building a data center on Mars to cache that sort of information, like just cache Wikipedia articles and images, would potentially be quite a valuable resource on Mars. Obviously, real-time communications don't even try a video call. Voice communications may be necessary. Obviously, a TV broadcast back to Earth definitely would be a thing. Wouldn't be the most live thing. Oh, my headphones are running out of power, so please excuse me as I figure out where my cable to plug it in has gone down here. Pardon the excuse. Where is it? This is not the right cable here. Found it. Why did I unplug this from my computer? I never unplug it from my computer. Meh. Alright. Big's still here. Great. Onward we walk. After this quick bite to eat. Quite. Up this high in the sky, far above the ocean. But these towers are quite tall. Over 100 meters in the air. 130, well, actually no, that's not true. We're only like... Oop, don't fall off. We're only like 70 meters above the surface of the ocean. So we're not that far away. We're not too tall. But yeah, we're, a decent distance above the water. Yeah. Something just thought of here. Something interesting about this calculator. So when I first got it in 9th grade, it had a bunch of different programs on it, and I don't entirely remember all of them. But it had I know it had one that had something to do with simulating random odds or whatever. Oh, cool. We're close to the end on this side. Got like 2 more after this, 3 more after this to go. All right. Then when we had to, the first time we had to clear the calculators for a test, all those programs disappeared. Apart from the finance calculation program, which is apparently the only one that's actually built in and just wasn't preloaded. I don't know how that works. Like, how do you have a program which is on the device when you first power it on, but won't still be there after you reset the device? Anyhow, newer versions of these calculators have Python interpreters on them. How? Actually, how? Like, the weird, like, assembly-esque language that they do have on them is quite slow. How does Python make any fasterness at all? I mean, it's, like, way easier to write code for them, I guess. Because it's Python, obviously. Can I, like, run and jump without much issue? I think I can. As long as I don't fly, I should be fine, and this will actually be faster, because bunny hopping is faster in Minecraft. It's not faster in Scrap Mechanic, though, so don't try doing that there. You'll actually go slower than just staying on the ground and running, because you actually have just drag through the air. There's no... I don't know actually how bunny hopping is, like, faster, because the way I think it works is, like, when you're on the ground itself is providing a decent bit of drag. And once you're in the air, it's no longer providing that drag, but you still have, like, leverage over the direction you go. At least in Minecraft you do. So you just go a bit faster when you're in the air. In Scrap Mechanic, that is definitely not the case. So, like, in Scrap Mechanic, you don't have any, like, leverage or control while you're in air in Scrap Mechanic. You're just, whatever direction you're going that way. Maybe if you do, it's very limited. Interesting stuff, though. Yeah. But yeah, things do be strange. Obviously, in my game, you have complete control in the air. Horizontal movement is not actually based on velocity at all in my game. It's based off whether you're pressing a button or not. Maybe that will change someday. Probably not soon, though. Because that would make physics a bit more complex than it already is. Because physics is also already quite complex. And I don't understand why some things happen sometimes with the physics engine. I made it and I don't understand it. Like, why? That should not be valid. That looks like that's colliding with... That seems like that should be in a situation where you can't get there, and yet you can get there and bad stuff happens once you do. I wouldn't dare run that stuff through ChatGPT, though. It would probably be like, oh, here, let me rewrite that from you and make it not work at frickin' all. That was actually way faster to get it. I should have been run jumping the whole time. Yoink. Get in your hole, pig. Fly back, sleep there. And this is the last one! For now, because I don't know what else to say. It took way longer to do this half than I thought it would. Thought it would be a bit quicker, but guess not. If I'd built this out of ice and made it it would take way longer. If there's some stuff spawning on the bridge. I don't know if the people who designed this structure that we're using for the project here ever intended this to actually be built in survival mode, but I'm just crazy enough to do it because I want to do a thing with it. Alright, last pick. Of the stream, at least. I gotta keep doing this after the stream. Yoink. That was far. Okay. And off we go. 1,000 blocks once again. Actually, I should check on my statistic of how far I've walked, fallen, and all that sort of stuff after this. It'd be interesting. I know I've broken... I know shulker boxes are the third most mined resource for me, behind stone and deep slate and netherrack, I believe. Above stone. It's like, what the heck? Shulker boxes aren't actually a resource that you'd expect to mine, but no. Find a lot of shulker boxes. Somehow, just like from all this, is where I've gotten all the shulker box binding from. Because I don't think I've otherwise broken that many shulker boxes. Outside of this. Pig's still here. Good. Would be very inconvenient if the pig fell off. It would, of course, it wouldn't like just fall and die because it just leashed me, unless of course the leash broke. Still have it dangling on the lead beneath me, but actually getting that back up here would be basically impossible. All of this looks incredibly similar to each other. It's all repeating over and over and over again. There it is. There's the end. The end is near. The end is near. Finally. It's taken long enough. Beep. There you go. Alright. That is that. I'll quickly check my statistics when I get back. Project has probably significantly increased all the stats for distance walked, flown. Probably not, maybe a little bit swam. But probably mostly just walking and flying. Oh, basically nothing from the boating industry either, so like... I think this whole thing was like 2,000 blocks long, and I've walked it a few times. Alright. Here's our glorious halfway spot. I think I built, actually, really good thing I built this thing in the middle. That way... it doesn't take 7 years to get the mine carts from one end to the other when I'm placing shulker boxes. Anyhow, statistics. 36 animal breeds just now, guys. Really? Coincidence. I've blocked a lot of damage with the shield, apparently. I've dealt significantly more damage. Damage taken. Fairly long amounts. Alright. Oh, the distance climbed. That's another one that's basically entirely this project, because I'm going up and down those ladders placing the shulker boxes. 34 kilometers climbed. I've crouched for 62 kilometers. Again, it's almost entirely probably... yeah, no, actually, that could be anything, really. I've fallen 39 kilometers. A lot of that is probably this. I've flown 400 kilometers. Sprinted... how have I sprinted farther than I've flown? Wow. Basically, not a lot of swimming. Walking is also comparatively little because it doesn't count when you're sneaking or sprinting, I guess. Huh. Not entirely sure what this means. How does that one computed? Wow, I've walked far underwater. Oh, distance by Elytra. You can select these! Okay. That would have been useful to know. Wait, when did I travel on a horse? 100 blocks. 1,990 kilometers by Elytra. Holy crap. Oh, and also this distance, 42 kilometers by minecart. Also probably this when I'm going back and forth. Hopper searched. Anything else juicy in here? Jumps. Okay. Open shulker boxes, yeah. Time with world open. 91 real life days. Wow. I mean, I don't know how these would ever be different. I mean, these are both pretty yeah, I mean, I may have K a lot in this world, so that basically this is the more accurate time. You only traded with 2,000 villagers though. Items, I'll show you that. Deep slate, netherrack, shulker boxes broken. Oh boy, this removing the shulker boxes was something. But anyhow, I think it's good enough for that. So I'm gonna say thank you all for watching. Hope you've enjoyed. Please make sure to leave a like on the stream on your way out. Do that here. And subscribe. Check out my game, which is linked in the description, and I will see you all in the next Cool Craft live stream video something. Get the thing up here. Bye!